Here's a fun deck profile for today. Generaider Invoked DPE. The goal of this build is to use Generaider combos to rip cards from our hand, while also following up with both Invoked and DPE for extra combos. So the main Generaider core is 3 Loptier, 3 Vader, 2 Har, and then our other one of and 1/2 of generic Generaider monsters. So Generators have 2 main starters and stuff they can go for. Loptier, contribute himself out into any Generaider monster. Depending on what we want to go for, we can go into Mardil to search the field spell to set up the rest of our plays, Hela for recursion, or we can go into one of these for a potential disruption on the opponent's turn. The second best play in Generators is to use Vala. Vala lets us discard another Generaider monster from hand to summon her from either grave or field, meaning this is both a grind game card and an extender/starter. When she's special summoned, she special summons another Generaider monster from the grave. So, if we wanted to, we can go Vala effect, discard, special, and then revive whatever we discarded. From there, we have a ton of good options. We can go into any rank 9 we want. We can go into Jormungandr if we want to trigger our field spell during our turn. Or we can go into Leviathan for one of the best removal options in the game right now. We could also go into a generic monster negate, some cool removal, or we can try funny hand rip shenanigans. I don't recommend this since it's very scuffed and it's not as impactful as it would be in previous formats, but it's still an option that you should keep available. Now let's go over our different Generaider disruptions. We run 3 main ones. Har is a generic Omni-Negate, and he punishes an opponent for attempting to search by forcing them to remove a monster from hand or field once they do it once per turn. We run 2 of him because he's one of the best. Utgarta is a generic quick effect, Banish. Tribute 2 of our tokens, banish an opponent's card. Nidhogg is when our opponent would special summon, we can tribute him to negate it. Very powerful. We don't need 3 of any of them, because Hela gets us 1 back from the grave, even if it is a bit janky at the speed it does it. Following this up, we have some support here. The main card, of course, is the field spell. When our opponent, during draw phase, or whenever else our opponent would add a card from deck to hand, this is an absurdly powerful move that does force this deck into going second, or to having to go first a lot, but it's not the end of the world, and we have many cards to get to this field spell. Mortal, of course, lets us search it. Boss Quest lets us shuffle back one of our Generaider monsters to search any 2 Generaider spell or traps. Boss Fight is another way to activate the field spell and then force our opponent to draw 1 to trigger it, and Boss Rooms gives us some protection for our Generaider effects. Perhaps the biggest combo enabler we have in the deck is World Legacy Monstrosity. This absurd card lets us either use it to special 1 level 9 monster from our hand, or if we already control a level 9 monster, we can use it to summon 2 level 9 monsters from our deck. Monstrosity would then let us special summon Mardil and Vala, which both sets us up for late game recursion and searching the field spell. From there, we activate the field spell. We can then overlay into Jormungandr, activate Jormungandr's skill to not only force our opponent to draw 1, triggering boss stage, but also triggering Har's effect to rip a monster from their hand. This is an absurd amount of disruptions, and it used to be even more absurd when VFD was legal. Of course, now we have to play the game fairly, but it's still an extremely powerful combo that you can do with a lot of different options in this deck. Because remember, Invoked Mechaba is a level 9, so World Legacy Monstrosity plus any of our Invoked starters is full combo. The Invoked engine is very simple and very tight. 3 Magical Meltdown, 1 Terraforming, 3 Alistair the Invoker, and 1 Invocation. It is very greedy to run 1 Invocation. However, because this deck is already so tightly packed with big, bricky level 9 monsters, I think to save as much room as possible, I'm going to run 1 Invocation and just take the bet our opponent isn't going to be able to get rid of it. Hopefully we're not going to be playing against Runic. If you aren't comfortable with 1 invocation, bump it up to 2 in your ratios. It's not going to hurt anyone. Extra deck wise, 1 Mechaba, 1 Elysium, 1 Purgatrio, and 1 Argodes. We have the Salamangreat Illumirage and Secure Godna combo. Normal Summon Alistair, Link. Now you have both a fire and light field. Mechaba is of course the Omni Negate that Alistair is always going to set up for the monster side of it. Purgatrio's there for OTKs. Very helpful to have, trust me. Argodes is there for some generic monster popping and a really good follow-up play after you make the Mechaba. And Elysium is just there to out difficult situations. He's pretty questionable if you do want to run him. I like him for the utility. I like him for both the utility and surprise factor he brings. If you want to play it more safe, cut him for another Mechaba. No one's gonna bat an eye. And lastly, we got 3 Fusion Destiny, 1 Dasher, and 1 Celestial. These, of course, are just going to let us go straight into Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer, just to give the deck an extra grind game, and a little more help going second. It is, of course, some more bricks, but this deck already has enough of them, and quite enough 1 to 2 card starters that we can kind of play around it. Then for hand traps, 3 Infinite Impermanents. You can change the Infinite Impermanents to be whatever your locals plays, but really it's all on you. Really, I find Infinite Impermanents is great for this deck. If you liked this video, thanks for watching. More deck profiles to come if this one does well. Leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.